comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh. What's up, guys? It's MD Shady back at it again with another great video for you guys today. Today, we'll be looking at some pops I would like to see in the future for the ad icons. But before that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you're new here, and hit that little notification bell to be notified when future content like this video gets released. But anyways, guys, let's check it out. So, we decided that I would make a video of some ad icons I would like to see in the future, and honestly, I wrote down a lot more than I thought I was going to. I wrote down about 40 different pops, which is kind of ridiculous. I kind of wanted to just do 15 or so pops, but there's a lot I want to see, and there is some stuff that I kept off of this list. So basically, to break it down, I put it into about 4 or 5 different subcategories, whether it's fast food, drinks, miscellaneous, and then I have kind of a controversial kind of section as well. So let's start off with the fast food. The first pop I have down is under the McDonald's lineup, and that is Mac Tonight. I know a lot of people really want to see a pop for Mac Tonight, and I am honestly one of those people. Mac Tonight is a super cool character, and I know a lot of people really enjoyed him back in the 80s through the 90s, so let's see a pop of him. Number 2 is another pop that I see a lot when people are talking about ad icons we could get, and that is the Burger King. Why wouldn't they do it? And here's another one that kind of follows up with that, and that is Wendy from obviously the Wendy's Corporation, and that's personally my favorite fast food place, so I'd love to see a Wendy pop in the future. Next up, we have the Arby's Oven Mitt. I think this would be great. I also really love Arby's. That is a really cool kind of different sort of mascot, so the Arby's Oven Mitt would be awesome. Then we have the Great Root Bear. If you guys don't know who that is, it is the mascot for A&W. Again, that's one that would be super cool. I do have the little plushes that they sell at some A&W restaurants, and I think it would translate very well for our Funko Pop. Then I have listed down a few different pops, but basically I only counted this as one pop because I only think we'd see one, but it could maybe branch out for more pops. Chuck E. Cheese. So we have Charles Entertainment Cheese, which is his full name, which I think is the pop they would generally do, but I would love to see them do the rest of the animatronics, the rest of the band. That'd be so awesome, and those names are Mr. Munch, Helen Henny, Jasper T. Jowls, and Pasquale. I know a lot of people would love to see this, and I really hope we at least get to see Chester Entertainment Cheese. Not Chester Entertainment Cheese, Charles Entertainment Cheese. Then I have listed down Little Caesar, obviously the mascot of the Little Caesars franchise. Whether you like their pizza or not, that is a very memorable mascot, and I think it deserves a Funko Pop. Now we're moving on to drinks, which is a pretty short category. There's only 3 pops in here. So to start it off, I have Cool Spot. If you don't know who Cool Spot is, he is kind of the mascot for 7-Up, and he's that kind of red dot that is in the logo. Obviously, if you know him, there was a game made for him. It came out on the Super Nintendo, but I believe it's on the Genesis, maybe the Master System. So I don't know if they would do this for ad icons. If they did it for video games, that'd be just as great. I would really love to see a Cool Spot. Next up, I have one of the probably most requested ad icons, in my opinion. I see it all the time, and that is Quickly, the bunny from Nesquik. I think a lot of people really want to see this, and I can't remember, there might have been some stuff on some dirt sheets about us actually potentially getting this, so hopefully that is the case, but it still needs to make it on this list because this is pops I really want to see. Last but certainly not least, under the drinks category, we have Pepsi Man. We have the Coca-Cola bear who is right here. Why not get kind of Pepsi's mascot? The Coca-Cola bear is a lot more iconic, I guess, but Pepsi Man was super cool. There's also a Pepsi Man game, I'm pretty sure, that was made, so they should do a Pepsi Man. It wouldn't be hard. They could literally just take a Silver Surfer kind of sculpt and just repaint it, honestly, and I think that would be super. Next up, we have the longest kind of subcategory on here, and this is any kind of food products that aren't like from a restaurant. First, we have Sailor Jack and Bingo from Cracker Jacks. If you guys don't know what Cracker Jacks is, it's like caramel corn, and then you get like a little prize on the inside, and you have Sailor Jack and his dog Bingo on the front. It would be a super cool idea for an ad icon, kind of pop and buddy deal. Then we have Ernie Elf. He is one of, if not the most iconic Keebler elf from the Keebler Company, and they could do the rest of the elves, but I would really like to see an Ernie elf. Then we have a couple more pops here that are also very requested when it comes to what people want to see for ad icons, and that's the M&ms. Obviously, we want to see the red M&M and the yellow M&M, but I wouldn't be opposed to seeing kind of the rest of the M&Ms, whether it's the green one or the orange one or Mrs. Brown. And those could be con exclusives. They could be exclusives to different stores. Then we have Lorraine Colette. I think that'd be a really cool one. It's kind of more back in the day kind of style of pop, I guess you could say. More of like an icon because it's a real person, I believe. So that would be cool. And I mean, Sudbury raisins, when you think of raisins, those are the ones you're thinking of, obviously. Next up, we have Debbie McKee Fowler. I mean, if you haven't got it by the first name Debbie, it's Little Debbie. Those snacks are great, and I think that is also another one that is very iconic, and obviously that's why these are called ad icons, and I think she does deserve a Funko Pop. Then we have the Dancing Bear from the Haribo Gummy Bears kind of company. This is a super iconic character, which I wouldn't really say so, but after kind of looking it up, a lot of people really love this character, and I think the pop would be super easy to make. It's a pretty simple design, so it'd be a good one for Funko to do. Then we have Larry. Larry is the guy on the front of boxes or bags of Quaker Oats. There's a character, or not a character, but there's a person that he is allegedly to be based off of. I can't remember the name of that person, but I think Larry would be a really, really cool kind of ad icon to see. I think the pop would look really, really funny in a good way. Then we have one that I debated on putting on the controversial list, but it's controversial for a different way than the other pops are controversial, and that is Aunt Jemima. Now, obviously, most people, I'm assuming, have heard that Pearl Milling Company, which is now what the bottle and the boxes say, they no longer say Aunt Jemima, and they don't have her on the box anymore due to a racial kind of thing. I haven't really investigated in it, but obviously she is African American, and I think it's unfortunate that they took her off the bottle and the boxes of the pancake mix, because I don't really see the racism in it, but I would have to dig deeper and find out. So I don't really see this pop happening, but I also think it would be one that a lot of people would love to have. Next up, we have Chip the Wolf from the Cookie Crisp cereal. Now, researching, there's been a lot of different mascots for Cookie Crisp that I didn't know about, but I'm going with Chip the Wolf because that's kind of what I think of when I think of Cookie Crisp. And again, that would be a pretty simple pop to make. I mean, it's just kind of a wolf, cartoony design. I'm sure they could get it done. Next up, I don't know the exact name of this character. I read around a couple places that it's Mr. Stringy, and that is, of course, the mascot for the Black Diamond cheese strings. Black Diamond's obviously the company. Cheese strings, I'm assuming a lot of people know what cheese strings are. I mean, it was a staple in your lunch as a kid, obviously, especially if you're closer to my age. Next up, we have one that I really want. It might be one of my most wanted, I guess you could say, ad icons, and that is Hector Boyardee. Obviously, you know what that is from the name. It is Chef Boyardee. That would be such an amazing pop. I really hope this happens one day. And then we have KC, who is the penguin mascot for Kid Cuisine. If you guys don't know what Kid Cuisine is, it is kind of a kids' TV dinner. I used to have these all the time when I was younger, and I think a pop of him would be pretty cool. Then we have one that when I thought of this, I thought, wow, this is genius. They could definitely do this very, very easily, and it could also be a flocked pop, and that is Sasquatch from Jack's Link's Beef Jerky. That would be such a great pop. I mean, pretty iconic with the Messin' with Sasquatch or whatever that was called. I think that would be great. Obviously, we've seen like Sasquatch / Yeti pops before, so they can obviously do a good job on it, so why not do it? Then we have Chip. Now, Chip is from Chips Ahoy. He is not from Cookie Crisp. They just share the same name. After kind of researching about it, Chip does have kind of a new... He looks different now in the past couple years, where it's kind of like a full circle with a face on it, whereas the one I'm talking about is where it was like a sideways cookie with the eyes kind of on the sides of the cookies. I think that's the most memorable one. I mean, those commercials were hilarious, and I think that would be a super, super cool pop. Now we have another kind of set, but I think they would start off with one pop, and that is for nerds from the Wonka company. And I think they should start off with the pink nerd because I feel like that's kind of the most iconic one, but then they could do a bunch of different colors for different cons, or if they want to do a Funko Shop exclusive or something different. I mean, there's lots of different colors. There's at least 5 different colors that I could think of, but the pink one would be kind of your common, or if it starts off as a Funko Shop exclusive, the pink nerd. Then we have one that is very similar to the Arby's oven mitt, and that is the helping hand from Hamburger Helper. This is a really cool character as well. I mean, I haven't eaten Hamburger Helper in so long, but when you think of it, you do kind of think of that hand, which is, I always thought an oven mitt. Maybe it's not, maybe it is just a helping hand, but I also think it would be a super awesome Funko Pop. Next up, we have a 2-pack, and unfortunately I think it would be kind of one of those 2-packs, sort of like the Fry Kids, where you have the sideways box, just because of how small these characters are, and that would be the Cinnamon Toast Crunch squares. You could have one where he's got like his mouth wide open, and another one where he's got his tongue out, or where there's like a bite taken out of one of their heads, because that's kind of what they do. But I think it would be super cool. Even though I think it would be a sideways pop or pop box, I would still definitely buy this. And then we have one that I've wanted for a long time. We do have, do I own it? I thought I owned a Bazooka Joe. It might just not be with these pops, but I think they should do Double Bubbles mascot, which is Pud. I mean, you open up that gum and you get that comic out, and Pud is the star of those comics. I mean, very kind of similar to Bazooka Joe, but it's also pretty different, so I think they should definitely do that as a Funko Pop. Wow, that was long for food products. Obviously, when you think of ad icons, you really are mostly thinking of food products, but we are on to the next list, and that is controversial. Now, I debated on even putting these guys in this video because I don't think any of these will happen. These are kind of some of the ones that I want to happen the most. So controversial, I guess, just means it's about smoking cigarettes or drinking alcohol, I guess you could say. So first off, we have Joe Camel. I do own a lot of kind of Camel cigarettes, Joe Camel kind of product. I think it's kind of cool. I don't personally smoke cigarettes, but I think that it's just kind of a cool nostalgia kind of thing to look at. And I think a Joe Camel pop would be amazing. I think they could do a lot of different things with it, whether they want to have him in a suit or have him in vacation wear or something. I think Joe Camel would be awesome. Then I have listed down Sir Henry Morgan, and that is Captain Morgan from Captain Morgan Spiced Rum. And now I guess you guys can kind of figure why some of these are going to be controversial, because it's kind of a toy company, kind of leaning towards kids, even though I feel like most of us are adult collectors. But a Captain Morgan would be super awesome. You can have him with his knee up on the barrel, and it would be really cool, and also probably a really detailed pop. And last but not least, under controversial, I have Spuds McKenzie. He is the mascot for Bud Light. He's that little dog. I forget what type of dog it is, but I think that would be a really awesome pop. It's kind of similar to Bullseye from Target, but a little bit different. And if they could get the licensing to Bud Light, I think that would be a cool pop to make. They could obviously do a couple different, either if they want to do it flocked, or you could have them wearing different kind of outfits. I just think there's a lot of money to be made in this kind of controversial section, I guess. And I kind of hope we can see some of these, but I really don't think it's going to happen. Now, for this next subcategory, I wasn't really sure what to call it. There's only 2 pops on it. I called it spokespeople, even though one of them's not really an actual person. But this is basically an icon for a company where it's not actually owned by them. So let's just get right to it and you'll understand what I mean. First, we have Bart Simpson, where he would be holding a Butterfinger. I mean, that's how they branded themselves back in the 90s. They had Bart Simpson. They also had Homer, I think, but I'm just talking about Bart here with the Butterfinger. I think that would be really, really cool. And then we have Macho Man Randy Savage with the Slim Jims in his red and yellow attire. I think that would be so cool. And I don't see why they don't do it. They would obviously just kind of need the licensing from Slim Jim, because obviously they have the licensing for Macho Man with the WWE Pops, which I do have a Macho Man somewhere around there, but I'm not going to look for him. And last but not least, we have the miscellaneous kind of section, where it's characters that aren't food related, they're not candy related, they're not drink related, they're not about smoking cigarettes or drinking alcohol, and they're not like a restaurant. So let's get right to that. First, we have Bibendium. I think that's how you pronounce his name, but that is the Michelin Man, obviously from Michelin Tires. This is another one that I see quite a bit, whether it's on Instagram or wherever I'm reading about people wanting pops. The Michelin Man would also be one that's pretty easy to make. I mean, obviously some people compare him to Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, which is already a pop. So I think this would be pretty simple to do, and I think it would look good. Next up, we have Martin. If you don't know who Martin is, he is the Geico Gecko. I think this would be an amazing pop. I would love to maybe see a glow-in-the-dark version of this because he's mostly green. I think that would look cool. And I mean, he's might be one of the most iconic kind of commercial characters of all time, potentially. Next up, we have another kind of pop that could be made into multiple different pops, and that is the Charmin Bear or Charmin Bears, whether you want to do multiple bears from the family or just do one. But then you could also do, so you'd start with the brown bear, I would think, and then you could do a red bear, which is like their strong toilet paper, which is like 4-ply or whatever. And then you could do a blue bear, which is their soft toilet paper, which is kind of, I don't know how they do it, but it's a softer toilet paper. You guys know what I mean. And I mean, they could do these for con exclusives, or have the red bear go over to Target, have the blue bear go to Walmart. That just makes sense. Then we have Mr. Clean. A lot of people really want this as an ad icon as well. He is also very iconic, so I don't see why they wouldn't do it. They just need to get that license. And then we have one that I kind of randomly thought of. I haven't thought of this character in quite some time, but it is Mr. Mucus from Mucinex. I think that would be kind of a funny pop to see. Glow in the dark would also work. He's green and he's also kind of slimy, so glow in the dark would be really, really cool for Mr. Mucus. And last but not least, we have another 2-pack, which I don't think would be a sideways box. It would be one of the bigger 2-pack boxes. I just don't see how likely this would be to be made. And it is the Don't Put It in Your Mouth PSA from Canada. I am Canadian, and if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's from 1992. It's so nostalgic, especially to Canadians around my age or even older than me. And basically what the whole PSA was about was don't put things in your mouth if you haven't talked to like a loved one first about it, because it could be poisonous or whatever other bad thing could come from putting something in your mouth. But basically it's 2 puppets, 2 blue puppets, and they're kind of furry, so doing these flocked would be really cool. I don't know if we've ever had a 2-pack of flock pops before. I might be wrong, but I think this would be really, really cool, considering there were so many awesome, iconic PSAs in Canada way back in the 90s, and I think this is probably the most iconic one, even though I could list off a bunch more. But that is the last pop on this list, even though I don't think it'll ever be made. I really hope it does. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here, and hit that little notification bell to be notified when future content like this video gets released. And don't forget to drop a comment and let us know, do you want to see a part 2 of this video? Because I'm sure I could think of 40 more ad icons that I'd like to see in the future. And also drop a comment and let us know if I've missed something huge that should definitely be an ad icon Funko Pop. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace in. Peace out.
Follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at A Funko Popcast. If you want to check out some of our other content that's featured on our channel, you can click either the playlist that's on your screen right now featuring previous episodes of our weekly podcast, A Funko Popcast, or we have suggested a video for you guys in relation to today's video.